Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Pure Finesse podcast with yourself, Jacob Murderson, and Malcolm Govius, who happen to be the head honchos of the Pure Finesse Sports podcast family. Malcolm,
Yes,
this time
sir.
Wednesday, there will be a game of what we like to call the unofficial national sport of Canada for consecutive nights that will span 162 days. Are you ready?
Am I ready? Are you kidding? I've been waiting for this moment ever since Tampa Bay lifted the cup last summer. I've been waiting for redemption for the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. So I've been looking forward for this moment for a long time. And hopefully it goes much more smoothly than the NBA is going right now.
Well, you know what? I think that the North Division, I knock on wood, but maybe won't have as much problems as the hot spots right now in the United States of America.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping just to see some good hockey. If I really don't care if the Leafs win. Obviously, I would love it if the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, but if I just see 56 games of Leafs hockey until in its entirety, I will be very happy, to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
with that being said, who is the teams that you're looking most forward to seeing in the upcoming season?
Well, obviously, I'm going to go with my Montreal Canadiens. I'm happy to see them to start every year, and for a few reasons this year too. So we know last year they barely got into that play-in with their 12th ranked in the East, getting in the play-in and coming out and beating Pittsburgh Penguins, which a lot of people didn't believe, but I believe them. Don't you worry. I'm a firm believer in this team. But they had some new acquisitions this offseason. They got Tyler Toffoli, who played for the Ottawa 67s, played for the LA Kings, played for the Vancouver Canucks, if I'm correct.
Correct. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
And he's a good goal scorer, 24 goals last year, 44 points in total. So I like him coming into the team. Obviously, I got my Gallagher jersey here that I got for Christmas. Brendan Gallagher is just a guy that any team wants to have. So I'm excited to see him play. Then obviously we have some breakout players that might play, like Nick Suzuki and Kotkaniemi might break out this year. Um, we have Thomas Tatar, Josh Anderson in offseason. But what I'm really most excited about is that Carey Price will be able to rest a lot
Last
this
good
season.
season from Carey Price. Mark my words.
Yeah,
Regressing
it
this year,
might
so.
be. Yes, it could be. We don't know. He's 33 though. He's going to be able to rest this year. He might get back to his MVP self because they have Jake Allen there to back him up. No, it's not Lindgren and it's not whoever else is there. They got Jake Allen, who's a good backup goalie. Carey Price can rest. I'm excited to see them play this year. How about yourself?
You know who happens to be the favorite though in the North Division? I don't know, like the betting favorite. Do you know?
Who is that?
Happens
Why
to
don't you
be
just
the
tell me?
boys in blue, the Buds, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sorry, not make me laughs. For obvious reasons, make really, really good free agent acquisitions with Jumbo, Joe Thornton, Wayne, the Train Simmons,
Name.
Zach Bogosian, the best third overall pick in NHL history, Zach Bogosian, and TJ
That's
Brody being the biggest of the acquisitions that they got
that's huge.
this fall, because I guess it wasn't July 1st as a regular free agent. See what happened. But Austin Matthews was robbed of Rick Vive's goal scoring record for the Leafs. That's why, if you ever know me, you saw me with a nice little Matthews mustache until there was nice some games. The bubble was back in its full effect. So you saw me with that Matthews mustache. Still think you should have had it, but he'll score 30 goals this year in a 56 game schedule. No questions about it. Mitch Marner, he's showing off the flow ski the last couple of days. He's trying to fit that medium sized helmet with the flow ski. So him, Matthews, and Jumbo is going to be a line to be watched. It's going to be a formidable line because, the first game is against the Habitants. So I don't know. Maybe that line will combine for 10, 11 points for the first game.
The first game, you kidding me right now with Carey Price in there?
But even the second line could be a first line anywhere else in the league. If you talk about Johnny Toronto, Willie Nylander, and the Soupy Mikheyev or Zach Hyman, depending on who they want in there. But it's a very, very formidable team, and there is no if, ands, or buts why this team is the betting favorite to come out of the North Division. But
Yeah,
a lot
I
of people,
agree. I just want to say to the point, I think Matthews will be up there contending for either he'll be like one or two in the Rocket Richard race this year. Obviously, what he did last season was pretty impressive. I think he'll be able to. Not obviously, can't get that many goals in 56 games, but who knows? Anything can happen. But I think he'll be up there with Ovechkin for that Rocket Richard race this year.
Right. To start off the year, there's been a lot of debate on who is the best player in the league, whether it's Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, or Artemi Panarin. Honestly, like I think there is no ifs, ands, or buts that Connor McDavid is the most gifted player in the NHL, and to hear his name not being
Yeah.
mentioned as the best player in the league, isn't that a little bit disrespectful?
I think it is, but at the same time, there's like you said, there's a lot of players in that mix, and the one that I would really compare McDavid to the most right now, being the best player in the world, would be Nathan McKinnon. And I think maybe him and McDavid should be 1 and 2. I think they are ranked number 1 and 2 in the NHL. But the fact that McDavid isn't unanimous isn't a big surprise to me because it's really hard to become that unanimous best player in the league or in the world at whatever sport you play. So I don't think he should be that hurt that he isn't the unanimous
It's
number one
very
player.
funny because Nathan McKinnon's making $8 million and McDavid's making 13. It's
Yeah.
really, really skewed on when people sign their contracts. But yeah, to have a $5 million wage gap in between the 1 and 2 best player in the world, I don't think you ever see that ever in any
No, I
sport
don't think
because it's
no.
really, really crazy. Unless he's a rookie, obviously. But yeah, like
Yeah.
McDavid hasn't had as much of a playoff success as a McKinnon would, or well, I guess you
Exactly.
can't say Matthews either. It's kind of sus. But yeah, but it's Panarin. So really, McKinnon, the top 5 best players of the world. McKinnon has got the playoff success on his resume. And
Exactly.
honestly, like he should be coming out. Like he's no arguably he's a top 5 player in the league. And he's got better player unless McDavid and Draisaitl play together. But McKinnon's got like one of the best lines in hockey with McKinnon, Rantanen,
Yeah.
and Landeskog. So I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's broken. But a huge free agent acquisition for a team in the East Division is the Buffalo Sabres picking up Taylor Hall for a 1-year, $8 million extension, which you heard first on the Pure Finesse Instagram. I'll have you know. So
Yeah, you
Taylor Hall
did.
and they finally get somebody for Jack Eichel to play. I saw something today that they're kind of ruining. Like Jack Eichel's picture is just getting
Oh yeah.
progressively getting to Marv from Home Alone.
Yeah, they're taking his soul away in Buffalo because he's such a great talent. It's like a Deshaun Watson situation. They're just wasting his career away right now. But with the acquisition of Taylor Hall, I think that's perfect. That's beautiful for Eichel. Hopefully they can just rack up some goals together, and Buffalo should be contending for one of those top
Oh,
like three. Not
oh,
not number one, but one of those top four, like 4 3 spots in
that East
the East
Division is
Division.
so stacked,
I know
so
it's
stacked.
nasty.
And
Yeah.
Buffalo, like I feel so bad for Sabres fans because honestly, it's better to go
Yeah.
watch a Sabres game than it is a Leafs game without the corporate sellouts that there are in Toronto. So, like, it's a
Yeah.
real game to go. And I'm a Leafs fan, so I can say that because Buffalo's an experience to go watch a game
It was
there.
a good game. I remember we
I was
went.
going to say, but
It
they
was a
booed
good
the
game.
Canadian national anthem, so come on.
Yeah.
But we've already mentioned this. The North Division is going to be the one time only thing for the NHL. I think this is this not the best thing to happen to the NHL in a long, long time?
Obviously, it's a kind of a blessing in disguise. You get to see the Canadian players, Canadian teams go up against each other. Every Canadian's losing their mind right now watching. You're going to be playing your rivals 10 times a year right now. So this is going to be some exciting hockey to watch for sure. And maybe a bit of brawls throughout the season
I was
because
going to
of how
say
much they're
PK
going to see each
Subban
other.
Miles Wood getting into it in the practice.
Oh, they did. I didn't see that. They
Yeah,
got
they
into
did.
a fight.
But
Oh
with
boy.
this 4 division format that they're having, we're going to have a guaranteed Canadian team in the semifinal. So, I mean,
I love that.
we might break the 27-year Canadian team Stanley Cup drought at once,
Mhm.
finally. But who next on is what team or teams do you think will regress this season?
Regress. Now you're putting me on the spot here. I have to gotta think about this.
When you think
One team
about
that
it,
I kind of
I got
okay,
a
you
couple
give
already
yours.
fresh in my mind. One of them
Yeah.
is the Boston Bruins. I just think that
Yeah, I agree with you.
really old and they're like there's really nothing special. Oh, I shouldn't say nothing special because a lot of those veterans could be surefire Hall of Famers, but there really isn't like a vibrance if you want to say that. Like there's really no clear
Yeah.
cut number one player. Obviously, Brad Marchand is doing Brad Marchand things with a little bit less off the antic side of it, but there's a lot of aging players and there's really not a whole lot of youth to go with them, right? Because you see all these teams now are going super young with the average age being like 24, 25 years old. And I'm don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm sure Boston is the oldest team in the league. 'Cause and
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
they lost the heart and soul of that team, Zdeno Chara, for 14 years being with the Boston Bruins franchise. So
Oh,
really, the best defenseman on that team is Charlie McAvoy, and I couldn't name you another one besides Brandon Carlo. So their back line is terrible.
isn't yeah,
Uh,
Carlo? Yeah,
Tuukka
they're not
Rask,
really good yet. I
Tuukka Rask didn't play in the bubble, so I don't know where his head is going to be at the start off the season. So it's just a lot
Well,
of
he didn't
it's
play in the bubble though. Did you see why he didn't leave why he left the bubble though?
well,
It
for
was
his kids,
because
right?
his yeah, one of his kids had like a medical condition. It's like what am I gonna do? Gonna play here or go see my kid? Obviously, he's struggling. So I respect for him for leaving
Well,
that.
yeah,
But like you
but
said,
I mean, like he was contemplating retirement when this was all
yeah, I
happening. So I
know.
mean, I
Yep.
don't know if his head is in mid-season form for a sense. And like David Krejci's no spring chicken, Bergeron is no spring chicken, Marchand's almost pushing 30, and really, there's
That's
no
ridiculous.
depth. Like there's no other like besides those three. Pasternak's not starting off the season; he's
Yeah,
hurt,
like Jake DeBrusk.
and that yeah, right. So I mean, like,
Who do you have?
and they were one of the
Yeah.
best teams in the league last year.
Yeah, and they have been for quite some time. They're making deep playoff runs year after year. I think we're going to see an end to that this year. Honestly, I totally agree with you. Um, keep going. Yeah.
And one more would be the Washington Capitals. I just have the sixth
Yeah.
sense that I don't think they're going to be
Yeah.
doing what they would like to be doing. Again, within the stacked East Division, they don't have their star goal, if you want to call him a star goalie, but they lost Braden Holtby to
Yeah.
go to Vancouver, and Henrik Lundqvist is having the open heart surgery, so he will be on the bench this year. So they're relying on the young Russian Ilya Samsonov to be between the pipes for them. And he was real shaky last year at points that some of the games I've seen. So that is going to be a question that they have to answer. And Kuznetsov is a good young center. But other than that, I couldn't name any other center on the Washington Capitals roster. TJ Oshie's in his 30s. Ovi, I mean, he's going to get 35 goals, I'm sure. But just there's really they don't have a whole lot of again depth defensively. John Carlson, Dmitry Orlov, that's about it. So I don't think they make the playoffs either.
I was totally gonna agree with you. I was gonna agree. One pick with mine was gonna be the Washington Capitals because they're signing Zdeno Chara. You're signing a 43-year-old guy on your team. Why do you want to get any older right now? Like just like the Bruins. Why do you want to get older? Everyone's young. But another team that I think that will shockingly surprise people that
Those
they
are the
won't
Leafs,
do as
man.
well is the Dallas Stars. No, the Dallas Stars. I'm not gonna say the Leafs. I'm not. Everyone knows that already. The Dallas Stars. I just think they lost a few players this year. They do have a bunch of young guys like Gurionov, Klingberg, Heiskanen, and those guys coming up. But I don't think they're going to be able to make that push like they did last year, going all the way to the Stanley Cup final. I think Colorado, they should have won against them in the Western Conference final. But I think with their division, they have the Colorado Avalanche, the St. Louis Blues, the Nashville Predators, Winnipeg Jets, the Wild, the Coyotes, and Blackhawks. I think there's four other teams that are better than them right now in that division, being the Jets, Blues, Preds, and Avalanche. In my belief, I believe that those teams will perform better than Dallas this year. So I don't see them making the playoffs.
And a lot of players aren't playing to start off the year, right? Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin both had
COVID.
off-season surgeries, and no Ben Bishop,
Yeah.
which they had them play throughout
Yeah.
the whole season, right? So they're going to rely on "I'm not going home," Anton Kudobin, and they're kind of in the
Exactly.
COVID hell right now, so they're not starting their season until next week.
Exactly.
So they're going to be a lot of
Yeah, and that's
back-to-backs,
awful.
a lot of back-to-backs.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's
then
gonna be
we
a
go to
lot of
the other
resting. Yeah.
side of the spectrum here with the teams that you think are going to be going to the other side and saying, hey, they might be making a push in the playoffs. So who do you think are on your list?
Yeah.
Because I know you're really excited to talk about them.
Well, I just have a few teams, 5 teams. I won't talk about the Canadians because I already talked about them. I won't. I'm
I think
excited
you
to
already
see
have to,
them.
didn't you already have to
One,
change your shorts when you're talking about Montreal?
yeah, don't worry. You won't see the bottom half of me this episode. That's for sure. Um, one for me. This is a bit biased too, but the Ottawa Senators. I don't think they're going to break out and be some amazing team and go make a cup run this year, but I think they're going to do better than everyone expects them to. Like last year, they finished minus 52 goal differential, 15th in the East. They got guys like Dadanoff on the team. They got Galchenyuk. They got Stutzel and Nisimov. They also picked up Matt Murray. So they got a bunch of good guys, and they're not like they're a bunch of old guys. These guys aren't
Oh,
old at all.
yeah, it's a young team.
They're in like exactly they're in their 20s, and they picked up good talent who have been in the league so far. You got Kachuk and Shabbat there still. I think they're going to be competitive every night. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, we're playing Ottawa, it's going to be an easy win. I think they're going to play really competitive every night. And like I said, I don't think they're going to make like a deep cup run, but I believe they will play better than everyone expects. This next team, I believe has the potential to possibly make a deep cup run, and we've kind of seen it in the past few years. That's the New York Islanders. Last year, finishing seventh, they only finished with a -1 goal differential, but they have guys like they have some good depth guys, if you know what I mean. They don't have a bunch of superstars. They have Matt Barzal, who's been playing great,
Who
Brock
finally got
Nelson,
paid.
JG Pajot, who's just yeah, and Pajot last year, 26 goals, 42 points for him. 26 goals for Pajot. I don't think they expected that much out of him. They got Anders Lee, Jordan Eberle, Ryan Pulock, and then they also got Corey Schneider to come kind of back up Varlamov. So it's a kind of the same situation with Montreal where they have that guy who can back up their starter and give him some rest. And I think Corey Schneider is some guy who like he hasn't been good since he left Vancouver, right? So we want to. I think he's trying to prove to everyone like, hey, I can still kind of play like I deserve to be in this league still. I think he kind of has to do that to prove the haters wrong. I'll talk about one more team because I know I have five, but I want to talk about one more, and that's the Florida Panthers. Florida this year, I mean last year, 10th in the East, so they still made the playoffs, had a +3 goal differential, and their star players, getting Huberdeau, Barkov. They have Huberdeau, Barkov, Ekblad, but they got Anthony Duclair, who Ottawa surprisingly didn't hold on to. That was a shock to me. I thought they would keep him for sure. And they have Bob, Sergei Bobrovsky. He
Get
didn't
off the
play
case,
as well.
Bobrovsky.
No one expected him. I mean, no one expected him to play as bad as he did last year. They expected more out of him, only having a 900 on the dot save percentage and a 3.23 goals against average. I think they're expecting way more out of him. I know the season was shortened, so they didn't get to play all the games, so he couldn't prove himself completely. Still, I think he should have played better. So I think this is going to be his bounce back year, and Florida will make a nice little push into the playoffs.
Well, I do think that Bobrovsky's got a lot more to play for this year because if you didn't catch the World Junior Championship, the two goalies who happened to be in the final were both Florida
Yeah,
Panther draft picks. So, I mean,
exactly.
there's two really good guys waiting in the reins there if Sergei Bobrovsky likes to poop the bed one more time in Florida. But
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just want to keep talking about the Ottawa Senators because I am like,
Okay, yeah.
Leafs fan aside, I'm really excited to see the Ottawa Senators play. Not
I'm
because they
saying,
have one of the dirtiest logos in the league now and one of the dirtiest jerseys in the league,
fucking
but
let's go.
they have a really good young talent that is ready to play. Like you said, Tim Stutzla, Brady
Yeah, come
Kachuk,
on.
Jake Sanderson. I don't know if he's going to play this year, but
Yeah,
Jake Sanderson is there
he's
now.
good.
Logan Brown, Drake Batherson.
Yeah,
Like
they're, they
it's
have
a really good
they have
team.
Brandstrom. They
Right.
have
Oh yeah, Eric
and
Brandstrom.
who's their backup goalie?
Oh my, Philip Gustafson.
Gustafson, and he's a good young goalie too. So they've got a
I was
bunch
gonna
of
say like
good
it may
young
not be
talent.
this year, but I'm
Exactly.
gonna be really excited to see this team play without a question.
Hmm.
But I team that I like to make it a really deep
Yeah.
run in the playoffs is the Philadelphia Flyers. Not to say
Yeah.
it's a sleeper pick because they made a pretty good run last year in the bubble, but they have a really solid core there with a mix of young and old guys like Giroux, Voracek, Sean Couturier win the Masterson last year, Travis Sanheim, Travis Konechny. It's just a really good team all around, and they have a really good young goalie between the pipes and kinda hot. So like he should be a top 5, top 3 for the Vezina this coming season for sure. But with that being said, who do you think? So we know there's really good 3 guys that you could MVP, but who is your sleeper pick that probably has a really good shot at winning the Hart this year?
At winning MVP, I'm gonna go with a guy. He played for the Senators, so he's got some good background there, and he plays for the Vegas Golden Knights now, and that's Mark Stone. And I think that's because Vegas is going to be a team that, they have been since they've been in the league. They've
I
been a team
know.
that people are afraid of. And I think Mark Stone is one of those guys who's really been performing ever since he's got to this team. Last year, he only finished second highest on points behind Max Pacioretty. I think Stone's just a really, really good player. I think this team is going to be good, and you always see, well, most of the time, you see the Hart being associated with one of the teams that's really good. But my other sleeper pick, and this is a Canadian guy, well, on the Canadian team, the Winnipeg Jets, is Connor Hellebuck. And if Connor
The
Hellebuck and the
goalie
Jets,
winning MVP.
oh, last time you saw it was Carey Price, right? But I think it could happen again. Connor Hellebuck and the Jets, they're good. Young, they're not super young, but they're a good team. Um, he's been a vote getter for the Hart Trophy before. I think even last year he got some votes for the Hart. So I think you should watch out for those two guys. Who are your picks?
Well, just before, I think a lot of people put push this guy under the sheets just because I don't know why, maybe because we're in the Canadian markets or not. But Alex Petrangelo was on the Vegas Golden Knights. Like this team is
Oh,
so
he
stacked.
is.
It's
I
unbelievable.
forgot.
Like this team is unbelievably stacked everywhere you look.
Their,
So
their
like
GM's a god.
I was gonna say it's I would say it's chip or bust for the Vegas Golden Knights. But sleeper picks for
100%.
MVP. We've already mentioned his name in the show already. He happens to play with the Buffalo Sabres. That's Jack Eichel being
Oh,
MVP this year.
Eichel. Wow.
Put up 70, 80, 90 points before having Taylor Hall, and now he
Yeah.
does. So, I mean, he's I honestly, well, I don't know if you're going to see it this year playing 56 games, but he should be in the top 10 for points
Yeah.
collectively in the league. So, I really like Jack Eichel to win. And I can't believe I'm saying this guy's name as a sleeper pick to an MVP, but he was the best player for a long time in this league, and that's Sidney Crosby, who
Yeah.
really should get votes. And he's a really good look at the guy who really has not regressed. And he's been pretty steady on the point margins, points per
Yeah.
game, because you see him getting hurt from time to time periodically. But he's never had a season under 70 points, like in his
Never. Wow.
33,
Holy.
15-year career. So I mean, and I can't believe I'm saying that Sid the kid's 33 years old. So we're getting old, man.
That's,
I
you
think there's
can't call him
only
the
there's some.
kid.
I was gonna say there's only some little bit more of Sid the kid left in the tank. So I really like seeing Sydney win his last MVP. I wouldn't say his last, but another MVP to his already very full trophy case. But the last
Yeah. Hall
question
of Fame career.
before the title picks is, who do you think wins Rookie of the Year?
Okay. Rookie of the year. We already mentioned his name a lot. I think it's going to be Tim Stützle. I think he's just going to be breakout for the Senators. He's going to be one of these guys on the Senators that's going to get a lot of points. He's NHL ready. You've already mentioned it. I don't think I have to go that much of that. If you start in the World Juniors, he carried that German team with Paterka. So him and Paterka were
Another
the only
Buffalo
guys that really carried that
Buffalo man, Dylan Cousins, JJ Paterka.
little sleeper team right there. But yeah, mine's Tim. How about you?
Well, do you know who the betting favorite is to win the Rookie of the Year? I doubt there's definitely no way you're knowing this one because it's obscure name.
Because it's not Lafreniere. So
It's
who is
not.
it then?
It's the New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin
Really?
is
Really?
the betting favorite to win the Calder. But I'm going with his teammate Alexei Lafreniere. I think I cannot
Sick
wait if
pick.
please let me. I want to see this line incredibly badly. Is Amika Zibanejad, Temi Panarin, Alexei Lafreniere first line.
Wow.
I
That's a
hold on,
not like New York's
change
a
my
good
shorts. I'll be right back. But yeah, Lafreniere and Panarin. Like Panarin's got 90 points by himself with Zibanejad, and Zibanejad got 40 goals. And
40
Lafreniere,
goals.
and Lafreniere, isn't he's a pass first guy. So I mean, I think it's just a match made in heaven to see him play with those two goal scorers. So I think Lafreniere, first overall pick, is going to be winning the Calder. So the last question before we get hockey underway: who is your Stanley Cup final picks and the winner?
Okay. Picks. Oh, baby. Okay. On the West, I'm going with Colorado. And on the East, obviously, I'm going to always pick Montreal, but realistically, I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow. So Sid
And
the
I say
Kid is going
Colorado
all
winning the
the way.
cup.
Yes, I will be sticking with the Colorado Avalanche to make it out of the West. And this is not a homer pick. I'm going with the Toronto Maple Leafs to make it out of the East
Oh,
because
that's a
this
home
team is
pick.
unbelievable. No, tell me how it is. They have a top 5 odds to win the cup.
They
And
do.
obviously, I want the Leafs to win the cup, but I will be thinking I will be going with the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the
Yeah.
2021 Stanley Cup. You heard it
I
here
think we
first.
all saw that coming.
The 54-year drought is over. 67, no more. They will be winning in 2021. Malcolm, you know
One
what
more
9 plus
thing.
10 is? Do you know what 9 plus 10 is? 21.
21.
That's right.
One more thing. I think you'll. I wanted to make this comparison with the Ottawa Senators. I forgot to, but I think the Ottawa Senators right now are the Cleveland Browns from last season. I think that's what they're going to be like this
I don't
year.
think
They're
they're
going to be a
overhyped.
team.
Cleveland Browns are overhyped.
I think this. I think not the Steelers. Don't talk about the Steelers. I think the Senators will play great this year. Not make it into the playoffs next year. Make it into the playoffs and shock the world and win a few series or not.
I don't think
So
I honestly, I'm not expecting Ottawa to do much in the regular season, but I'm just really excited to see them play. Like, I
yeah,
don't think
they're
there's
going
a
to be
lot of
good.
players in Ottawa that's saying, "Oh, we have to win," because look at the roster we have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unproven guys on that roster, but I can't wait to see them play. I can't wait for hockey to start because it
I
comes on
can't wait either.
Wednesday night, January 13th. Be there, be square, everybody. So until then,
Check the website. Check the website. We got some games to watch too. If you check our
and
Pure Finesse website, we put some games for the NHL.
Mano a Mano has begun. We have our winner being the amateur tube guy. So we'll be seeing him go up against a new challenger next week on Mano a Mano. I think we already have the pick, so we cannot wait to see it next Monday. So until next episode, it's Jacob.
And Cole.